Hello. You can follow me on this one, or you can go ahead and create your own shaped petals. But I'm going to start off this work by drawing a few different petals behind the previous petals. You can see there that I have a few varying shapes along the top. I feel like you can repeat the same pattern over and over again if you like, but I chose to have a more organic approach to the lines on top of my petals, if that's what you would call them. Some people would call them teeth, or some others may call them leaves, but I like to consider them to be a type of petal. As you go around now and add those petals, you can see that I have sort of spanned them in the one direction. If you do choose to try your own composition, you could start it from the center, you could start it spanning from the top or one of the top corners, or you could just have them sort of fanning out organically if you like. That would be interesting. And if you actually do something like that, please tag me in it or send me a picture so I can see what it ends up looking like. I decided to do something a little outside of the box for the border this time, so you will see that later on. That is why I did not pre-draw a border. But what I am doing is, for every single one of those petals now, I am drawing I guess you wouldn't call it an outline. It's more of an echo or an echo line, and that will just go on the inside of each one of those petals. Now, I began at a point where you can see it becomes wider and then it comes back to a point. I think this looks quite nice. I am going to go ahead and continue doing that for each petal. I'm also going to speed it up a little so that we can move through this next section quickly. What I'm doing now, before I move on to the next step, is I'm going through my drawing and I'm just really tidying up those lines with a fine line pen, or a felt tip pen, whatever you like to call it. I like to clean the lines up because I find that when I am just doing something for the first time with my marker, sometimes you might notice that there's a bit of a wobbly line or there's some slight imperfections, but I find that when I go through and refine each one of those lines, it gives it a really, really nice crisp edge. And to be honest, I really enjoy this part of it a lot. So I quite enjoy doing this. It does take a bit of time, but it's definitely worth it. Now we're drawing some lines inside the inner petal. This is what I'm going to do for each one of those. It's going to be a very repetitive, really relaxing actually, and quite satisfying part of this whole process and creating this particular type of pattern. I actually really enjoyed this part of it. So just drawing some straight lines. For me, I thought that it would be, I've seen this done before, and I really like the fact that the lines meet at the one point down the bottom. However, as you can see there, where I stopped and paused and I pointed with the pen, I'm not exactly going down to the center. I'm drawing a line through the middle, and then I'm drawing a few lines going down and meeting at the bottom point. But then when I continue on the lines on the other side, I might draw them on a slightly different angle, and that gives it a nice effect. So just remembering here, you can do whatever you like. If you'd like to draw your lines in all different directions, you go ahead and do that. But for this particular one that I did, I wanted to keep things slightly consistent. So I am really trying to aim at ending those lines in the center at the bottom of each one of those petals. And I'll continue going on around and getting those lines down. Here is the different border that I was talking about. So instead of drawing the border completely around, I've decided to tuck a little bit of the border behind a few of those petals. So I've just started in the bottom corner and I've moved a few millimeters in, and then I've just drawn the line behind that petal. And the reason why I had drawn those petals a little high in the beginning is so that I could give that kind of effect, which I think looks pretty cool. And I'm also going to color the background. Just filling it in there. I'm going to leave this drawing black and white. I considered whether I should add some color, but I think I really like the way this one looks. Just a nice old plain black and white drawing. Just to finish it off here as well and add a cute little effect to the border, I'm just going to draw a fine line up the left hand side and across the top. And I think you might agree that it looks a bit cute. What do you think? And this is it. So if you like what you see, I would highly suggest that you grab something to draw with, grab something to draw on, and give it a go. And if you want to see me doing my tutorials live, please follow me on TikTok, and I look forward to seeing you there. See ya!